Who else was I talking to there when this first started? There was someone in your band other than you two guys, right?
That's our manager, yeah, Lorna.
What's she doing back there? Is she lighting a joint? What's she doing in the back?
I couldn't possibly say.
It's too debauched.
Well, I'll tell you what, if she is feeling herself up or anything like that, then please move the camera to that vagina area so we can all see it, if you don't mind. Okay. I was asking you guys before the show started to give me a really disgusting show that you guys had. Anything disgusting happen to you guys on the road? Give me your worst story, and then I'm going to beat it with my story.
We were playing with this punk band, and me and the singer of this punk band decided to have a drinking competition before we went on. He won. I ended up puking in the box of beer and thought it'd be great to kick it all over the pool room. And then the manager came in and basically made me clean it all up. But yeah, it's not very rock and roll, man.
Well,
I'm on my hands and knees, pissed out my head, scrubbing up my own puke.
So that was a good one. I got a story very similar. It involves puke and vomit. By the way, in the United States, we call it vomit. Where are you guys? What country are you guys in?
We're Manchester, England.
Okay, Manchester, England, you guys say puke. In the United States, we say vomit. Okay, it's a little more disgusting way to say it, right?
Right.
So here's my story. So this is like 30 years ago. I'm playing in this band. It's called Cookie Jar and the Crumbs, or it might have been in Bandstand. I forget because I moved from a couple bands way back. And they were both cover bands because it was like in the disco ages, right? So I'm doing a disco cover band shit, right? So I had this buddy of mine. His name's Bill. The guy could never, ever, ever get laid. Pretty sad, right? So I decided, okay, so I'm going to bring the guy to a gig and help the guy get laid because he's a nice guy. And I don't care being with him because I'm going to get laid a lot more than he does. So I'll give him some leftovers, right? So I brought him, I brought him along with me. I'm playing in a band, and then set's finished, and I'm looking around for Bill. And I'm thinking, well, I don't see Bill. Maybe he's in the restroom getting laid. I'm thinking maybe he got lucky, right? Because he's claiming he's with Dave Darren in the rock band, right? Or the disco band at that time, right? So I go into the restroom looking for Bill. And sure enough, there's a stall closed, and I see like shoes at the bottom. However, I see shoes like he's kneeling, so I'm thinking, well, maybe he's satisfying the chick, which is kind of cool, right? So I open up the store, I knock on the door, and he's like moaning, and I don't see anyone else in there. So I open up the door, and the guy is vomiting into the toilet because obviously couldn't hold any liquor, right? But it's worse than that because the guy before him that was probably using the toilet he was probably constipated. Finally, when it all broke loose, it was all diarrhea, and we got Bill vomiting into a toilet full of constipation and diarrhea. How's that story, guys? I think that deserves a clap from you. Come on, clap, guys. Come on. You got to clap about that one, right?
Man, I'm glad I haven't eaten.
You sound like an unbelievable douche.
Do you know the Dave Darren Show?
Not enough to boil a monkey's bum.
Most people say, who the fuck is Dave Darren?
Like Disneyland, I'm the happiest fucking guy on earth.
Who the fuck is Dave Darren?
Who the fuck is Dave Darren?
Are you a poof duck?
He used to be on terrestrial radio, but he got fired.
Aspen.
Who the fuck is Dave Darren?
Here comes the boss fella now.
Dave Darren.
Hey guys, welcome to Dave Darren Show. Paradox UK on the show, fresh from their rehearsal studio. I got the guys in the studio right now. How's it going, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, great to see you guys. How long you guys been together? Because you're really tight.
Well,
Tight. We weren't tight, but now we're very loose.
Well, we're not talking about ass cracks. We're talking about tightness of music. Okay. All right, let's not confuse that. All right.
Okay, back on track. Okay, so we've been together for about 15 years now?
No.
20.
We've been saying that for a while now.
We've-
Since 1995.
We started in 1995. I have been saying 15 years for probably about 10 years.
Okay. Any breaks in between? Did you guys take any little sabbaticals from music and then came back, or
Yeah, we had a break for probably about 6 years, didn't we?
Yes.
about 6
Yeah,
years?
about 6 years, and then we came back. Basically, life's too short to kind of miss out on things, and we just enjoy the music. So we thought, you know what, we'll have another crack at it and just really get into it, and that's what happened.
Now, and when you took
Back
Back to crack again.
when you took off and took the break, and now you came back, did the music change quite a bit? I mean, the genres change, obviously. The instrumentation changes. The way recordings have changed. A lot has changed. Are you guys kind of back to where you were, or do you not want to be back to where you were 6 years ago and things have progressed in maybe a different direction, sound and everything?
No, we learned to play.
Yeah, we went to music school and
Band camp.
band camp. Now we basically when we took a long break, and when we got back together, I think the music is different, naturally different, because we hadn't played for a long time. Like we kind of wanted to build the bond again between us all as well, and in doing so, we changed like our kind of like the way we played. So the songs are a little bit more rocky, actually a little bit tighter as well than what they used to be. Listen to Silent Stream, it's all over the place.
Now, how did you guys come back together after that 6 year break? Like, was one guy that approached the other guys and said, you know what, I've got this idea, let's give it a shot? The drummer there, is that it?
No, it was the bass player actually.
Oh, okay.
He basically had a heart attack over Christmas. He had 4 heart attacks. Was it 4?
No, 2.
2. I double up everything. So he had 4 heart attacks over Christmas.
Not this past Christmas.
No, this
No.
is
4 years ago.
about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
And we decided, you know what, life is too short to miss out on things, and we just wanted to get the band back together. I sound like one of those old 60s guys. Just want to get the band back together, man. Smoke a joint. That sort of stuff. So that's what we did. Because he had a heart attack, we thought, yeah, fuck it, we'll play some music.
Then you realized I can't live without this, and I almost didn't live. So you got.
And we thought if he had a heart attack on stage and died, we'd probably get in the papers.
Well, should we take the show out with? Can we do a final track? I know you guys put your equipment down. I can either dub one in from. It's up to you guys if you want.
I'll tell you what we're going to do.
Soft. Make it softy.
Oh.
The cigarette to calm my nerves. The state I'm in is not rehearsed. I've given you my very best. You beat me down, you will not rest. These lies you make, you're so fake. It's my mistake. I won't wait, so now I'm gone. You're standing up to raise your voice. Yes, like you've given me no choice. So draw your lines that I can't cross. You really think we give our talk? These lies you make, you're so fake. It's my mistake. I won't wait, so now I'm gone. I try to tell you it's too late, but as I do, I hesitate. So maybe we should let this go. Let's give the neighbors one last show. These lies you make, you're so fake. It's my mistake. I
Some of the bands that come on the show, they'll light up a joint before a show, and I'm not asking you guys to tell me about any of your habits or anything like that. Some people think it brings out it shuts down the inhibitions and kind of enhances their inward personality. Some people obviously on stage, some people still have stage fright. This takes the edge off, or it'll take the edge off of jitters to be playing some new music. Does that help? Do you do that at all?
It does. A few drinks before you go on stage always just sort of breaks the ice a little more, and I certainly have a couple before I go on.
As far as the smoke goes, I personally wouldn't do it before performing, because it actually makes me a little bit more antisocial rather than social, and I probably focus on things a bit more and tend to get a bit more paranoid. But after the show, sure.
Yeah.
We do have a song called Stoner.
Yeah.
So,
I love that song. That's, by the way, and you guys know that, that's the first song that I latched on to you guys, because I found you guys very early on in my Twitter find. I'm a very different American. Obviously, we've got Donald Trump that's all over Twitter, right? Have you ever been in award shows? Have you ever done that?
Not really, no. I haven't had the opportunity to. Would like to. Yeah.
Never even been to the States, Dave. I didn't want to bring it up, but I heard Trump might be your president now.
Yeah. Why don't you?
I know.
And you wrote the song Mexico. Is that a tribute to Donald Trump?
Yeah, I knew it would come
right?
up. I knew as soon as you heard Mexico.
How do you keep the music fresh? Obviously, if you have a piece, obviously one of my favorite songs is Stoner. So I play that a lot every time you guys are on the show. I play it a lot. So obviously it becomes a fan favorite to people. It became one of my fan favorite songs of you guys. So now if I go see you guys once, twice, 10 times, I'm not in Australia, so I can't do that. But if I did, every time I would come there, I'd want to hear that song. How do you keep that song fresh so that you mentioned that first moment when you first trickle on that riff that you're really digging? It's explosive. How do you keep something that you've played so many times explosive enough for you guys to still not mind playing that particular song?
The crowd definitely helps in that situation. Yeah. They're the ones that, as you said, have maybe only heard it 5 times on the album. This is the first time they've heard it live, and they're like, holy shit, they're playing Stoner, wicked. Yeah. They're digging it. And they give you the energy to do it again, because you've maybe done it 1,000 times. And you can't deny the fact that you play a song 1,000 times, it does lose its edge to you personally. But when the crowd themselves seem to be truly into it, and it's their first, third, or fifth time to hear it, you start to relive that again yourself, and you want to play it the best for them. So then you're back on key and you're back on note.
And we shouldn't underestimate the amount of stoners that are out there. There is a serious army of them. Yeah. And it's almost like an anthem to them, I think.
Do you need the stresses, the frustrations to bring creativity out? Is that something you can work
we're
with?
lucky there.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite. Yeah,
Really?
It's the harmonious. If you can find someone that you can truly get along with, then everything else just rolls along with that.
Because it's almost like some of those funny comedy shows. I remember there was one with Bruce Willis a long time ago called Moonlighting. And he used to always have fights with some of his girlfriends, and it'd be the most obnoxious fights. And then by the time they got into bed, the hostility built into a sexual passion that was incredible. So that's kind of why I asked that, because it seems
I don't know where you're going here, Dave.
Doesn't end up like that.
I don't know what you're leading to here, Dave.
All right, guys, so thanks a lot for being on the show.
Thanks a lot, mate.
See you, Dave.
Catch you, Dave.
See you later, guys. Man, take care.
we've got a crowdfunding campaign that we set up. We've got a limited edition shirts and hoodies.
And usually the Dave Darren Show will throw into like anyone that wants to support you guys. We'll throw in a night with a hooker or something like that. So do you want to put that in there as well, or?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure they'll sell a lot.
It'll go fund me a hooker. Okay, we'll also include, because I have connections to CBS. We'll throw in some penicillin as well. Okay.
All right, nice.
All this time that we're waiting for you to pull up your Skype, you don't have the advantage of seeing my hideous face while you're doing this, do you?
It's showing up on my phone, but
my God.
I'm watching.
I'm so sorry about that. I guess I've never heard of my show or of me. Is that correct?
I haven't, no.
Great. Okay. I love this because this gives me an opportunity to continue fucking up people's lives. I do the anti-Phil show where bands have come on my show. They've lost their wives. They've had divorces. The bandmates have stepped out of the band or gotten fired. So I create tragedies. If a tragedy already exists, I intensify the tragedy. So welcome to the show.
All right on. Yeah, thanks for having me.
That's okay. So it's funny. Sleep Signals is the name of the band, and it's funny because my wife, when she has a headache, the sleep signal is Dave, no sex tonight. But it's funny though. Guys can have like a penis that's almost going to fall out or fall off the body, yet they will use that little strand of penis that remains and still have sex, right?
Right.
Right. See, I threw you off already. I had no idea what fucking tragedy the show was. So, welcome to this tragedy. How's it going, man?
I hear you.
So it's great to have you on the show. So how about we play the track, and then we're going to come back one more time and announce how to make sure we hook up with your GoFundMe campaign or whatever you want to call it. So let's play the video for, the name of it is I'll Save You, right?
Yep. At the End of the World is actually a lyric from the song, so...
Do you think, by the way, do you think we're coming to the end of the world? Do you think that's going to happen? Because I'm a little bit worried about sending you a hooker and she might not make it there because the end of the world took place, right? I want to make sure that purchaser gets his full use of that.
Yeah, actually, some NASA scientist or something was predicting the end of the world.
You broke up a bit. Did you say some NASA scientist or did you say some asshole scientist?
Some NASA. Oh, okay. I'm sure he wasn't. He might have been an asshole too, but some NASA scientist was predicting the end of the world. I guess when we were in Wichita on our tour, so we were waiting for it, but it never came.
Yeah, well that's good. We're still here. So let's play the track. We'll play the video, and here we go on the Dave Darren.
Can you hear me?
Now, you were on a 30-day tour. Did you play primarily almost every day on the tour? Because I would imagine that when you're on tour, that's your opportunity to have a merch booth set up, sell merchandise. I know bands kind of thrive on the merch booth. So did you play predominantly almost every night?
Yeah. I mean, we usually try to take a few days off the rest and just kind of check out some cool stuff, hang out with some people, and just kind of relax, have a good time.
Yeah, I know there's a drink called Sex on the Beach. Did you actually have sex on the beach as well as the drink?
I don't know that. I can't speak for all the other guys, I guess, as far as the actual.
Let's speak for you. Let's speak for you. Did you personally have sex on the beach?
I did not have either sex on the beach at this time, no.
That's good because I've tried it. That sand is not a good idea. You can't mix sand and sex, even though they begin with begin with the letter S. Sand and sex do not work. Now you can have sex with someone named Sandy, that works.
Right.
Actually, I had sex with a girl named Sandy, and I used to call her Hurricane Sandy because she had stronger blow force winds than the hurricane did that blew through New York City. So,
all right.
What a show, right? What a criminal type of show I do, right? By the way, next time you get rid of an instrumentation of your band, like I mentioned, come on the show here. We'll fire them on the spot. Okay, we'll give them shock. Right. We'll shock them right on the show. Okay.
All right.
Man, thanks for coming on the show, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
This may take some thought to realize who you are and who you are. You're not what you see in their eyes. A reflection that's always on you. Why do this to yourself? Just to be like everybody else. Don't let them tell you about the past. You and I both know you were a different person then. Which way to go? To lead or follow? Lead and
he was a very unique singer, being that he sang in those falsettos like 90% of the time. So his songs were like way up there. The keys of his songs were like way up there. They were like very high. So it came natural for us, me and my two brothers, to sing backup with him, because I'm singing falsettos now. My younger brother is singing middle, my older brother singing low, and then we had the ability to actually switch. So I would jump from falsetto to low. My younger brother would jump in top. My older brother would jump in middle. And Prince loved that because it gave him like this 3 different types of sounds from these 3 dudes.
Now, obviously, Prince has passed away. Was that a devastating moment in your life when he passed away? Because were you still sort of connected with him, engaged with him? Were you still going to be touring with the guy? Or give me the logistics of the relationship and if it was still ongoing.
I feel it's time for me to change up the scenery. No one to hold me back from being me. I gotta be the one to manifest destiny and show the world my life, my legacy. No more excuses, tell me what are you waiting for? I won't be sitting idle anymore. So don't be calling me if you left me alone. I'll show you I can make it on my own. So all I can say is whoa, 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 whoa. I guess all I can say is whoa, 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 whoa. I almost lost my life in an accident years ago. I swear to God I'm lucky to be alive. And even though it wasn't time for me to go, I saw my life flash right before my eyes. Right then I knew I had a purpose for being here, and I refused to live my life in fear. So for all of you that stomped me into the ground, just know what goes around comes back around. So all I can say is whoa, 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 whoa. I guess all I can say is whoa, 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 whoa. Feels like I'm me again. I was lost but now I'm found. I got a reason to breathe again, and no baggage weighing me down. Feels like I'm free again, and no cage can keep me in. Cause I'm ready to take it all. If you ain't here, all I gotta say is it's a new age
I've got DuJuan Elliott. How's it going there, DuJuan?
Great, man. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing real well. So let me talk and introduce you first to our audience. You are you do a lot of things. You are a producer.
Yeah.
You have a studio, singer, songwriter. Look at all the studio stuff in the back. We're going to talk about that because studio stuff fascinates me as well. But singer and songwriter, obviously you have some new material out there. So obviously you are a songwriter as well, right?
Yeah.
By the way, do you do all the songwriting? Just out of curiosity, first question I have is the songwriting. Is it all you, or do you collaborate with other writers?
You know what? I collaborated with a couple of artists on this EP because it's something I really wanted to do for a long time. Just collaborate, you know. They say more heads, the better, you know. So I wanted to make that happen with my first EP. So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
So the first thing about doing music is you know that the first thing being a musician and doing everything you do is to hold the audience, to hold the involvement of the audience, right?
Yes.
So now I've got to start off with something from you that's kind of going to be an attention grabber, and I'm sure you're going to know what I'm going to talk about. And it's not going to dominate this interview, by the way, because I want to talk about you now rather than you in the past. But you know I'm going to talk about the collaboration with Prince, right?
Yeah.
It's an attention grabber. When I do the show, it's an important thing for me to make sure I grab the audience and make them listen. Tell me about that.
Awesome.
I know that a lot of vocalists that come on my show, they start off in different ways. One of the ways they start off is they create their own band, or they get involved in a band, they play local shows, they finally tour, they maybe leave that band or get canned from that band, or they're messing around with other wives of the other instruments in the band, so they've got to leave the band, right, because of all the drama. And then finally they connect with the band from that perspective. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is to be a vocalist who eventually gets to stardom based upon playing in Prince's band as a backup vocalist, which you were, and then for that guy in the audience, that promoter, that actual label, actually they close their ears to Prince for a while and they say, check out his background vocalist, man. The guy's got some chords on him. He's got some voice. Let's meet this guy backstage and let's talk to him about. So how does it happen with an artist that is a background vocalist? Or talk about that perspective first.
Okay. You mean how do we get with him? How do we,
Yeah, I guess maybe what was your goal when you were a vocalist, working your way up? Tell me about your goals and how you worked up to where you got.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. It started out in like I said, me and my brother sang with my parents. We sang professional gospel with them for years. They were called the Beard Family, the Beard Singers. They're out of Arkansas. We left Arkansas, I think, at the age of maybe 19, 20, 21, somewhere around that area. And we made the transition from singing gospel to secular music. But it just so happened that I'm a close friend of the family, Morris Hayes, which is Prince's MD for almost 20 years, maybe more. He's from Arkansas, too. Well, he knows my folks. He heard that we had left and wanted us to start on a record with him at his recording studio in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So I'm just making a long story short. So we flew from Houston, Texas to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Started working on our record because Morris was trying to shop us to major labels. It wasn't the idea of us just getting with Prince right off the bat, So Morris had some free time on his hands. He was supposed to be off the road for maybe like 6 months, so to speak. So it was perfect timing. Me and my two brothers coming in to Minneapolis to work.
This was Morris who? Morris
Hayes.
Okay, now there's a Morris Day too, wasn't there?
Yeah, that's Prince's buddy. Yeah, that's Morris Day.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people get them confused.
Yeah, exactly right. Okay. With the three of you guys, there's got to be some tensions there, or was there none? What? How did that work out?
It was no tension at all. I mean, it was just a matter of me and my brothers because we all played different roles, even when we just being backup vocalists. We all had our own different roles. No one was sounding like the other one, and I think that's what I know for a fact. That's what Prince really liked about us, because we all had our own different sounds within, as backup vocalists. So he could call out either one of us and get a different type feel. So it was like a kid in the candy store with him when it came to us three brothers.
Huh. Yeah. Now, was that intentional? Like when you guys are growing up and you're on the family, was there always a guy that took on like the baritone, and was that intentional because you guys needed to sound, you needed to harmonize in that pattern to make the sound full, right?
Well, okay, let me explain that to you, and this is going to read its way back to Prince, and I'm going to show you what happened.
Okay.
Well, when we were kids, I hit puberty. So before that, I was singing top soprano, right? So when I hit puberty,
I thought you were gonna say for a second that you hit puberty, but before puberty you were masturbating a lot. So that's good. Okay, we're not getting into that part of my show. That's great. Okay.
You're awesome.
By the way, I know that you're a vocal coach as well.
Yeah.
Singing falsetto. Is that a natural thing to be able to grab from most people's voices? Is it a dangerous thing to do? Because it seems like a lot of people can do it. I can do it. Everyone can probably do it. But is it something that obviously the Bee Gees kind of were predominantly noted for that, right? Is that a damaging voice thing to attempt that?
It's definitely not. I think it's more damaging if you try to sing overly strong and strain your voice. Actually, falsetto is like relaxing to me.
Oh,
it's so easy. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of people can sing falsetto, but it's not too many people that can sing falsetto like Prince. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or the Bee Gees, because they sing with finesse. Prince was very good with singing falsetto with finesse. The Bee Gees had power with their falsetto. So it was a difference between the two. I like both. I'm sorry, I can't pick between the two.
Now, obviously, Prince has passed away. Was that a devastating moment in your life when he passed away? Because were you still sort of connected with him, engaged with him? Were you still going to be touring with the guy? Or give me the logistics of the relationship and if it was still ongoing.
We worked off and on for quite a while after we were just consistently together. So, I mean, his passing really caught me off guard. I wasn't expecting it because the guy was so healthy. You know, it really hit like a ton of bricks for me and my brothers and my mom. You know, but I hate he's gone. I wish he was still here. I mean, the world needs him, right? He was an amazing guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Was he as talented as we all know him to be? Obviously, he was multi-instrumental. We know him from the guitar. I think he played a lot of other instruments beyond the guitar, a lot, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing to actually sit in a recording studio with him and watch him play, whatever it was. Like his album, the Rave album, I actually to even have the privilege of actually walking to the studio and seeing him track is very rare. Not too many people get to see that. But I never will forget, he was sitting right there at that SSL mixer, had his Roland XP50 sitting on top of a Roland keyboard amp in front of that SSL mixer, and he was playing Every Day's a Winding Road remake by Sheryl Crow for the Rave album. And I sat there and watched him later, and it was just amazing to actually just sit watching. It was just really cool.
That is tremendous. Now, you know, vocalists today, musicians today, no matter what instruments they play, no matter what band they're in, obviously it's a challenge. Yeah. Whether it's a harder challenge now than it was before. I was a musician 30-some years ago. So 30-some years ago, we had a challenge not to get ripped off. That was one of the challenges. Today, it's a challenge of trying to get, you know, with all the internet stuff out there and all the technology, it's still very difficult. You would think it would be maybe a lot easier, but it's not a lot easier. In fact, some people think it's not easy at all compared to before. But I'm curious about this. When you're a musician that's obviously performed with Prince and on your own and all of the stuff that you're doing now, we're going to talk about that a lot. Do you get kind of nostalgic thinking about where you were and the challenges to be in a position where you are now? Is it encouraging, discouraging? What's your vibe in the music scene now? How do you feel about it?
I don't think it's challenging. I think, you know, what makes it so difficult because I think a lot of artists today are trying to sound like the next artist. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah.
That makes if you're going that route, then you can look for competition. You know, but if you consistently ride in your own lane, and you stick to those guns and perfect your own lane to a point to where no one can say no to you, then you're good to go. And I think Michael Jackson said it best. It's like if they asked him, you know, with all this digital downloads, illegal downloads going on, and all this music being stolen. How can we get the consumers to buy music again? Michael Jackson said to just simply make great, groundbreaking music again. And I think a lot of artists today don't understand what that means because we're also today so used to working off of formulas. We're not making beat it's anymore. We're not making human natures anymore. We're not making, just what's going on anymore. It's all about melody. And I think a lot of these artists today fail to realize what it is when it comes to melody, how important it is to inject melody into your songs. Because if you don't have that, you have nothing. And it doesn't last. It speaks for itself. Look at it. They're still playing audio records today. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious about this because your comments here, some of your comments really struck an interest with me. So you've got to have groundbreaking material out there. You can't copy the genre you can't copy what's already been played, what's been heard. But now maybe part of the reason for that is when you turn on any radio dial, you hear that consistency, that same thing that's being played constantly, and the radio stations believe that that's the groove that the people are listening to because the station is kind of manipulating that groove to be at that consistent flow. That's why I don't listen to radio. It's funny, I'm a radio personality, but I don't listen to radio at all because I'm sick and tired of that consistent groove that I used to like that consistent groove. Right, but I want something new. I need something. And people, I think radio stations underestimate the interest level that they would get from that listener if they introduce something new.
Right.
So I understand you completely. So tell me about that. You got a new album coming out now, or is it already out?
It's already out. Yeah.
Okay.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
When did it come out?
When did it come out? About a month ago.
Okay.
About a month ago.
How long
2 months ago. Sorry.
How long did it take you to do it? And was it a effort on your own with obviously your own studio in the background? Did you go and have it done in your studio, master it out somewhere else? How did you come up with the material that was brought out a month ago?
I did it all here. It took me like maybe 6 months. I actually could have got that record done quicker. But with all the transitions of being here and there and not being in one studio at one time, But yeah, it took me like maybe 6 months to get it done. But yeah, off and on. Yeah.
Cool. So let's play one of the tracks. I've got a couple here that you sent me to play. Cool. And what's the choice? What's the start off of the show? What do you want to kick into gear here?
Oh, God. I guess we can do Don't Wanna.
Okay, here we go on the Dave Darren Show. And by the way, tell us about it before we air it. How did you come up with it? Some of the... Go ahead.
This is awesome. It was really cool. I did this particular song, the music, and at the time I was just bouncing between other different projects, working with other different clients, and I came up with this song, and I was like, oh, this is hot. This is really cool. I could do something with it, and ran into a really cool newly friend of mine by the name of Tani, and we both got to really clicking. That's her that's actually singing on here too. She's singing on this record, but I didn't have time to write anything because I was working on so much other stuff. So I shot it off to her. I was like, look, here, I got this. It's really hot. Write to it. Shoot me your ideas. Let's go back and forth. Let's build something. And she was like, cool. Well, it wasn't, I think it was maybe like a week later. I couldn't hold my peace any longer. I finished projects. I jumped back on it. And I went upstairs. Played it. I put the headphones on and I started listening to it. And all of a sudden, these words just started coming to me. So because I hate to write. Are you like that? I hate writing because I don't know. Are you like that?
Well, it's funny because I play the guitar, and I have an ability to kind of memorize the songs I write. I should write them down, and I because there's going to be a point where I'm going to hit Alzheimer's here. I'm going to forget it, right? I'm already on Viagra, so I'm already sort of messed up. But there's going to become a point where I'm going to forget the pieces, and if I don't write them down, I'm going to be messed up, right?
That's awesome.
Okay, so let's play it right now. It's called again. Oh. You announce it. Don't Wanna.
Yeah, this is viewers. This is DuJuan Elliott featuring Tani. Check it out, guys. This is amazing. We actually have the video after this on YouTube, Facebook. We're over like 150,000 views on Facebook alone, 40,000 and up on YouTube. So it's steady climbing. People are figuring it out. Yeah, so check it out, everyone. Check it out, people. DuJuan Elliott featuring To Me, Don't Wanna.
And around we go, up and down, God only knows. I think it's obvious we jumped the gun. We should have took it slow. You say we doing it for the kids, but damn, I think we're living a lie and going to hell. Always talking out your neck with hate, and I'm conveniently coming home from work too late.
I don't wanna fight. Don't know how to make it right. What are we even fighting for? You don't even care no more. More.
Say it again.
I can't go another night if you don't even wanna. Now who you think you talking to? If you wanna leave, I ain't stopping you. And who you say be rushing things? It's been years, I gave you a kid and I ain't got no ring. You can lie to yourself, you can lie to the world, but you can't lie to me, no. And you can search all of the seas, but you'll never find another that's gonna love you like me, no. I don't wanna fight. I don't know how to make it right. What are we even fighting for? You don't even care no more.
Say it again.
I can't go another night.
You don't even wanna
try. This is a battle we'll lose.
What happened to us? Where did we go wrong? Nothing couldn't phase us, girl, cause we kept it strong. It's a two-way street, you and me. I can picture us with nobody else, baby.
I don't wanna fight. I don't know how to make it right. What are we even fighting for? You don't even care
no more. Say it again.
I can't go another night.
You don't even wanna try.
This is a battle we'll lose.
Do I let you go? Do I let you go? I don't wanna
fight. I don't know how to make it right. What are we even fighting for?
if you don't even care no more. Hey,
I can't go another night if you don't even wanna try. This is a battle we'll lose.
When I first picked up my first 6-string, this is my first electric guitar. It was like, magnets that you just can't pull apart. You know what I mean? That natural fire was there for that. And it's hard for me to explain what that was or, what that came from. whether it's any kind of raw talent, or whether it's time on the instrument. Because ever since that day, I haven't been able to go a day without playing the guitar. You know, it's hard for me to not just pick up a guitar if I'm in a room with a guitar.
Show, I have a tremendous artist, and I mean to really say that sincerely, a very unique artist. I have Justin Johnson on the call. How's it going, Justin?
Great, brother. How you doing tonight?
Hey, not too bad at all. Look, I wanted to have you back on. You did the show when I did primarily and only and solely an audio-only show. And as soon as I started doing video, I started thinking of guests that not only have a tremendous quality of their music, but also a very, very unique presentation. And of course, you come to mind. And obviously, let me explain it to my audience. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get into some quick dialogue. Then I want to jump to an immediate visual of some of the work that you do. And you're here to, I guess, maybe are you going to perform a song live today? I wasn't sure you were.
If you want me to, yeah, I've always got a guitar in my hand, so I'd be happy to.
Okay, actually, we'll pull that off because actually, shockingly enough, when I record full rock bands, it's kind of sketchy. But if I do an acoustic or solo artist, it usually comes out pretty good. So let me give a little preamble of yourself, and if I get anything wrong, you correct me. You do, first of all, you do mostly original music. I know you do a couple covers once in a while. You did one for Johnny B. Good recently for Chuck Berry's, right?
Yeah, definitely. I like to hit the classics and pay homage to that and to that history. But I also love writing music and taking the music somewhere it's never been.
Okay, and I'll express another thing that's very unique about you is the style of instruments that you play. For instance, I wrote them down here, and I wrote down some of the pieces of music. For instance, you do play a shovel guitar, which I talked about in our first interview. No one got to see it. Now they get to see it on this show. You play a shovel guitar, which is obviously a real shovel that you might use for digging or so that's one of the instruments. You also play a not a washboard. What's a wash bucket or wash pail or?
Yeah, wash tub guitar.
Wash tub,
guitar,
right.
Yeah, the resonating body is from a small wash tub.
Okay, you see, I did some research here on the instruments. An oil type of can, correct? I've seen that as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So now, you know what we're going to do is let's talk about, first of all, let's talk real quickly about the uniqueness of the instruments. And I want to make sure we show a video of you playing one of the unique instruments. But I'm sure a lot of these instruments, when people think about them, if you just tell them about the instrument, they're going to think, well, how much bass are you going to get from this instrument? Maybe the wash tub, because it's a larger volume where you would think you could get a good bass from that. But a shovel guitar, they're going to think there's actually no structure there to carry on any bass. They're going to think of it to be too trebly. So first of all, the instruments sound phenomenal, and let's discuss that first. How do you get these instruments that are of these unique qualities? Are they experimental? Do they have to be massaged a bit to figure out what works? How does all this happen?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a question I get a lot. You know, basically, hearing, first of all, people ask, why do you have instruments made out of these found objects? And does it contribute to the sound in a positive way? Because you think, a lot of people are used to wood. Guitar is made out of wood. Mm-hmm. That's not always true. I mean, this guitar right here is a traditional instrument, a classic instrument, the acoustic resonator guitar, and this is made out of wood and metal. You have completely, metal resonators as well that don't have the wood at all in the body. You have a lot of these different materials. But, when you think about just take the shovel guitar, for example. I've got it right here, actually.
Oh, cool. We get to see it. Uh-huh.
You see, the shovel is the entire guitar, from the body to the neck to the headstock is the handle of the shovel. And it's surprising, especially with this specific shovel and the way that it's put together, it's designed to be a lot like an archtop electric guitar. Uh-huh. So you can see the shape of the shovel is much like an archtop. It has a tailpiece, it has a bridge, it has a contour to the body. The strings go across the neck to the nut. And really, you play it exactly like you play a conventional guitar, only this set has no frets, so you have to play it with a slide. But it sustains like crazy. I mean, when you play, acoustically, it doesn't have a whole lot of volume to it. But that's no different than, let's say, a Les Paul or a Fender Strat.
Right, true.
Solid body electric guitars aren't designed to acoustically project any music. They're just designed to sustain. The resonance is inside the body. It's not in like a sound chamber. It's actually in the wood itself. The tempered steel shovel has, to me, to my ear, and to the feel, as much sustain as something like a Strat or a Les Paul, a big block of wood. Only it's so dense, that tempered steel, that it resonates in a much smaller package. You know what I mean? It sustains in that small blade.
Yeah. Now, so I'm curious. How did you? And then we're going to play a track, I promise, because I want to make sure we see the visual of that instrument being played. But I'm curious. What obviously, or not obviously, but probably, when you first started playing the guitar at a younger age, what age were you when you first started? Were you like 5, 6, 7, 9?
I got serious when I was a teenager, but my first guitar that I ever picked up was much, before that. It was this little one-string beater that was lying around the house that was, it only had one rusted string on it, but, since I was about a teenager, I'd say I've been really seriously playing.
Okay, but I was going to get at that probably you played a more traditional instrument at the very beginning of your career. Now, you had that one that was the rusted one-string instrument, but then probably from there you progressed to the typical Telecaster, Stratocaster, maybe a Hummingbird. Is that probably true? I'm sure that you didn't just pick up a shovel and say, oh, at the age of 12, I'm going to, instead of shoveling snow, I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to create an instrument out of it. Now, so how did you come about obtaining your first very unique instrument, and what was that instrument, and what made you love it to experiment more with it? Or maybe you didn't, maybe you dropped it for a while and then you rediscovered it. So give me that history.
Yeah, well, you're right. When I started seriously playing six-string, it was on conventional electric and acoustic six-string guitars. It wasn't until I've been performing as a professional musician about 10 years that I got my first roots instrument. It was a handmade 4-string guitar that had a cigar box for the body. And someone brought it to a show, actually, and just handed it to me when I was on a break and said, hey, you want to play a song with this? And I had no idea how to tune it. I didn't even know what strings were on it. And but I thought, this is cool. Let me see what I can do with this. And so I basically made up a tuning for it on the spot. I plugged it into the amp. It sounded great through the amp, and so I just started making up a song on it on stage at the show. And it sounded great, it had this soul, it had this vibe that, it was like something that was missing from what I was doing. I felt that immediately, It had this rootsier, sort of a chaotic kind of vibe to it and tone to it. And so, it was the beginning of the rabbit hole, man. I just fell right into it head first. And once I got my first roots instrument, it's like the next one I got sounded totally different, but it had that same character. It had that same soul. It was like, oh, God, this is, this is a sound that I'm connecting with like crazy. And, one thing led to another. Now I have about 350 plus roots instruments from all over the world that have been sent to me or given to me on tour. People wanting to try out new things, and now I've got instructional DVDs on how to do it, so that I can help people learn how to do it on their own, and started an online music school for roots music and roots instruments called rootsmusicschool.com, so that other people could really learn how to do this. And, it's just taken off so organically.
Wow, very interesting. Very cool story. So the initial first instrument that you got, it was kind of a gutsy move to play that on stage, plug it in. Obviously, when you're on stage, you want to make sure that your best performance is out there. So it was kind of a gutsy move to do that, and it worked out well for you. Now, when you're at gigs now, do you have people in the audience that are coming in with maybe they have some greasy fingers because they've been putting instruments together, and they come in there and they expect you to rap with their instrument? Obviously, you want to maintain a quality of the show that you're doing. You don't want to turn it into like an an experimental circus of types. So you do have to be, as a no musician develops their following and develops their professionalism, you kind of maybe can't take that risk like you maybe did in the past. Maybe that's true, or maybe you're just that unique guy where you'll just go with the flow.
Oh, absolutely. Almost every show I do, I invite people to come out and bring instruments to, and what it's become sort of a culture at my shows and my performances that people, not only the builders who might bring instruments out, but the audience loves seeing something that was just made that day, or maybe, it was something that has sentimental value. I don't know how many stories I've heard of people saying this was my dad's or my grandpa's, this object, and instead of just sitting around the house, they made an instrument out of it. And they come out and they bring it to a show, and then I can tell the story of that instrument. And then, a lot of times I'll be the one to play an instrument for the first time ever. Like they just strung it up, and I get to share that and tell everyone there, this is the first sound you're going to hear out of a musical instrument. And, that's something people find, at the end of the show, they tell me, that song you did on that instrument that guy brought out or something like that, they might say that was one of the coolest things I've seen at a concert in a long time.
Absolutely.
Just because you're pulling the audience into the story, to the art of that, and then also to the history of everyone who's been doing that for centuries. And so I love doing that at shows and workshops when I do that.
Well, now this is fascinating, and I keep asking questions because I'm uniquely fascinated by this. So one more question, then we do have to play a song because I want to make sure people they want to see this instrument. But I'm curious about this. When someone comes up from the audience with an instrument, and do you pull them up on stage? Because part of it you mentioned is the history of that instrument, how they created it, how they were inspired to create it, and to get their impression of it while you're playing it. Because some people obviously that are developing these pieces of equipment, they may not be the quality of artist that you are. So in fact, if I have a guitar, I can't make it sound like the guitar teacher that taught me how to play that instrument, because I don't have his talent and I don't have his study as well. The two of them together made my guitar teacher the quality of player he is. So to have that instrument that someone created on stage, experimenting or having the instrument played, performed, with the quality of sound that it's capable of, that you can bring out of it, that in itself is something that, do you bring that individual up on stage and then have a short discussion with them, a history, etc. with them?
It depends on the context, really, as far as that goes. Sometimes, let's say it's at a workshop. So, a lot of times before a show, I might offer a workshop where there's more time to talk about the actual, talk to the builder with people there, bring the instrument up, talk about the instrument. And then, that's really when I have the time to bring everyone together. And then even if it's a very simple instrument, even if the instrument has, maybe even a defect or the builder's just learning how to play, that's a good venue. Those workshops, instructional workshops, are a good venue for me to say to everybody, give this builder a round of applause for bringing this up, because it takes a lot of guts to bring something up you might not even be sure is going to work. And then I'll tell people, well, this is how I make it work. This is how I make it sound the way I do. And then sometimes someone might bring something up and it just plays beautifully. I mean, the craftsmanship of some of these even, pure hobbyists that do this, and then they bring an instrument out. It's just amazing how nice some of them are. And of course, if I'm playing, a large festival and I've got a short set, or, there's not a lot of time to talk to people that I'm meeting for the first time on stage, I might not be able to have as much time as I do in a workshop to do something like that. But, any chance I can get, I love to showcase the artwork that these luthiers are making, these roots instrument builders. And honestly, it's just fun. You know what I mean? I just love doing it.
Well, it's great fun to have you on the show. So let's play a track of music. You sent me a few of them. Can we start off with one of the more unique ones, which is the shovel, or should we leave that for the middle as a pinnacle of the show? What do you recommend?
Let's go ahead and play that shovel guitar video. That'd be a good one.
Okay, and the track is called
Cranking It Up.
Okay, and it's an original piece written by yourself as well, right?
Actually, when you're watching the video, you get to see the minute I wrote it. It was actually an improvisation that I just kind of came up with for that video. We were out back, and Nikki was recording, and but it became so popular that that's actually now a song that's on my upcoming album, Driving It Down, that I'll be doing. The full band arrangement is on that album, but you get to see the moment of inspiration basically in that video when you're watching it.
Very cool. So here we go. This is Justin Johnson on the Dave Darren Show, and here we go. Show, tremendous artist. Are you in Nashville right now?
Yes.
Very cool. Do you travel a lot? Obviously, you have a good opportunity to travel. A lot of instruments. How's your van? Is it filled with a bunch of instruments, or how do you do this?
You mean for my live shows?
Yeah, for your live shows. You have such a diverse amount. You said you have how many hundreds of these unique instruments? Did you say like 300 of them, or?
Yeah, about 350 plus on the last count. And, generally when I tour, I'll try to play as many unique instruments as I can, tastefully fit into the set, because I want people to see and hear the difference between these instruments. I mean, they really are like members of the band to me, I want to give them a spotlight. I want to showcase what they do. And, I fall in love with the sound of each one also, so it's hard to write a song on, let's say, the shovel guitar and then play it on any other instrument. And that's part of the show, and that's part of the magic of it also. So, you know, for my live shows, generally I perform by myself, but I can have up to a dozen or more instruments sometimes at a show.
Well, it's funny. One time I was in Las Vegas, and I went to see this comedian, Carrot Top. You familiar with this guy? He's a little bit popular. He does a lot of magic with props. And he was talking about going to some of these stores and just maybe they're like a Goodwill store or something like that, and rummaging through and having ideas in his head of what kind of comic appeal he could have for that piece that he found at Goodwill. I can imagine you going to these antique stores with a shopping cart and just putting it chuck full, overflowing with different ideas that come from your head, right? But probably no joke, right?
Nikki and I, wherever we go on tour, you know, one of the things we always love to do is go to antique malls and antique stores, not just to look for, you know, things that could sound really cool or look really cool on an instrument, but you also end up learning about the history of the places you're going in a really cool way, and you see, you know, what was there at this time, and those stories end up becoming a big part of the inspiration too for the music and for instruments, things like that. I love Fenders, I love Gibsons and everything like that, but you know, there's also times when you just can't beat a 3-string shovel, you know what I mean?
Right. I'm curious about this. I studied jazz for a while, and if you listen to some of the jazz greats, for instance, George Benson, who I happen to think is a very good guitar player. Before him was like Wes Montgomery. These people had the ability to be able to sing as they're on the fretboard. They would be able to sing the note that they're going to play. And I have a feeling, and I don't have that quality of talent to me, but I have a feeling that they don't, I probably guess that they're thinking of the notes in their head and the melody of those notes and just knowing where to lay it on the fingerboard. Is that something that you do? Do you have the ability to sing the note and sing a note right now and play it on the guitar? And do you do that?
That's not, you know, when I'm playing, it's a sort of a mix between the tones in my head, the pitches in my head. You know, if I know I'm in a certain key, I know that these spots on the fretboard are going to be the right ones in that key for the notes that I'm hearing. When it comes to just like what you're talking about, being able to hit a pitch, while I can't do it, you know, vocally, I can do it in my head a lot better and on the fretboard a lot better. But, you know, I think the thing that is actually going on in my mind or in my soul, whatever you want to say, when I'm improvising or when I'm writing music, is that I try to put myself in the feeling of the song. I try to make myself feel like emotionally what I want the song to feel like emotionally. And whether that's just, you know, rock and roll, whether that is a very meditative feeling, or whether it's, you know, introspective, you know, thinking of something happy or sad, whatever it is, you know, I think the emotional quality is the thing that gets communicated, whether you even hit the pitch or not. You know what I mean? And I think you listen to some of that old roots and blues music, and some of the most gut-wrenching blues and some of the most tear-jerking, you know, the sad songs are out of key. The rhythms fluctuate. There are total, you know, you could say theoretical imperfections all over the music. But the feeling is just like a tidal wave when it hits.
Yeah, feeling's dead on, right? Absolutely. I'll tell you what, if we
can. Yeah, that's the technique I try to focus on, though.
Excellent. Can you play a piece here? You mentioned that you don't mind playing a piece live here for the show.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind doing that, that'd be tremendous. Tell us what you're doing. And tell us the inspiration behind it, or maybe you're going to do something just ad lib, whatever you feel like doing. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I guess I'll just kind of let things go. I'll just, I guess the only restriction will be I'm playing this 6-string resonator, and it's an open D tuning, and I can only play slide with it because the action's so high. But I'm just going to have some fun and see what comes out.
Tremendous. Absolutely incredible. Tremendous technique as well. How do people engage with you beyond the interview here? How does
the best
that
way
happen?
to do that for everything is my website, justinjohnsonlive.com. And, you can get connected with the Facebook, which is also, Facebook.com/Justin Johnson Live, and YouTube as well. But if you go to the website, justinjohnsonlive.com, that's got all the links for you there. And pre-order links, if you want to get the album now, you can be the first ones to get it when it gets, finally gets shipped out and everything like that.
And why hasn't Jimmy Kimmel contacted you yet? You've got to have all these media people kind of crowding around you, because not only are you physically a great guy to look at, the instruments are unique. You're obviously very able to have a conversation. You have an insight to what you do. Your personality is great. I'm sure Jimmy Kimmel, has he contacted you yet?
I'm waiting for it, man. If he's watching, give me a call, brother.
You know what? I'm going to send this to Jimmy Kimmel's folks. I'm sending this, by the way, to SiriusXM, because I'm trying to get the show on SiriusXM to have the very unique artist, because I'm tired of driving down the road, listening to radio and hearing the same formula constantly. In fact, to be honest with you, I don't have that problem, because I don't listen to radio anymore, because it's not unique at all. So I just, from the perspective of uniqueness and something that needs to be heard, I'm trying to get the show on Sirius, and hopefully you'll be part of the. Yeah. Hopefully you'll give me permission to send this to Sirius. Do you mind?
Absolutely, man.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to do that. I appreciate you being on the show. It's a thrill to have you on. In April, just hit me up and tell me how the album's going. And if you don't mind, sometime within April, it's coming up on April pretty soon here. If you don't mind coming on, I won't occupy your whole time here, your whole hour for the show here. But if you don't mind coming on and just giving me a quick announcement of one of the tracks that you would love to have on the show, and I would love to premiere one of your tracks from your new CD on the show, if you don't mind.
Yeah, man. Definitely. We'll stay in touch about it, and that all sounds good, brother.
Cool. It was great having you on the show again. Do you mind if we'll take out the show with, we'll do back-to-backs, because it's a video show, and I get to do as long a show as I feel like. So let's pick two more, and we'll do back-to-backs. What should we do?
I'd love for you to play the Johnny Be Good as a tribute to Chuck. Let's see. Anything else, man? You just pick one. Pick one from the YouTube channel or something like that you like.
Okay, I'll do that. And I'll announce it like the superior DJ I try to be, right?
I love it, man.
Yeah, you were great to have on the show, man. I appreciate the fact that you came on months ago, and I just did the audio show, and now I'm in the video, and I'm thankful that you came on the show. Thanks so much. Good luck in Nashville. Where are you headed next? Where's your next couple gigs? Where are they? What states are they in?
Let's see. I'm looking forward to the 4-State Guitar Fest coming up, and that's going to be out in Missouri, and so that'll be my next one. And then all my shows are at the website justinjohnsonlive.com on the tour page. So I've got the full lineup there.
Cool. And by the way, my wife was listening to some of the videos, because I pull up all the entertainers that come on my show. I pull them up, and my wife, who's a Buddhist, she's a Japanese Buddhist, she said, Jesus Christ, this guy's good. so there you go. Thanks again, Justin, for being on the show. It's tremendous having you on. Thanks so much.
Take care, brother. Thanks a lot.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Up in the woods among the evergreens, it stood long and made of wood. Well, in the country boy named Johnny Be Good, who never ever learned to read or
Play one for you on the cigar box guitar. This was made by a local luthier, a good friend of mine out in Hillsboro, right down the road, named Bob Johnson. He makes a lot of these wonderful cigar box instruments, these old traditional instruments. Appreciate it again being here. My name is Justin Johnson. I'm going to do a new one for you. This one's called Rooster Blues. Thanks again very much. Appreciate it.